All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. It's Tuesday, right? Wednesday, right? Thursday, right? What day is it? It's Wednesday, of course. That makes it Wanderlust Wednesday here in the cave. I've got a lot of artists that seems to qualify probably for Wanderlust Wednesday. I don't know what I'm going to do. There's a log jam here on Wednesday, so perhaps I'll be doing some bands that are a little bit of a stretch on other days. We shall see. Stick with it. Mystery here in the cave. I hope you enjoyed this week so far. My brother's episode on Monday with a little flock of seagulls. Yesterday with a little Alice in Chains, the almighty Alice in Chains. And today, I'm excited for today. We haven't covered this band yet. And you're going to have to follow me on this one. I did a lot of reading, and it's a lot. I don't know if I'm going to get it all right. I'm going to try. But we're talking about the band Public Image Limited. PIL for short. You guys know this band? Anyone out there know this band? Raise your hand if you know it. You, anyone? Bueller? Public Image Limited, a punk band, post-punk, not even post-punk, punk band though. Formed in 1978, popular from 78 to 92. Then they got back together. We'll get to that, all that stuff. But this is basically John Lydon started this band. You know who that is? That's Johnny Rotten. So, singer of the Sex Pistols. Sex Pistols, obviously, hugely influential punk band. I could never get into the Sex Pistols. I tried. I couldn't do it. It's funny because I like PIL and I like his voice too, but I just couldn't do it with Sex Pistols. The closest thing I could do to punk rock was Fugazi. I don't know why. I don't know why I love Fugazi so much, especially in the waiting room. Oh my gosh, so good. Anyway, I digress. Have we covered Fugazi here in the cave? Maybe I'll be doing them soon. We'll see. But anyway, so Sex Pistols, remember that whole story? Sid Vicious, the band breaks up. He murders his girlfriend, Nancy, Sid and Nancy. That's the year after they break up, 1979. By 78, Johnny Lydon forms this band, Johnny Rotten. And he's trying to find people to play with him. And he gets Keith Levine, who is a guitar player. And he is the Pete Best of the Clash, because he was in the Clash, but he left before they put out their first studio. He did write a song on the first album, or credit with partial credit. But yes, he left the Clash. His whole life, you can say that he was in the Clash before the Clash was the Clash. Sorry, Keith, but he's in this band. He had a friend, Ja Wobel, who played bass or learned how to play bass along the way here. It's hard to tell. All I know is I said he was a quick study and he picked it up quite fast. And Jimmy Walker on drums. All right, so as the story goes, some of the things I read is the Sex Pistols break up, and there's a photographer friend of John's that says, hey, I'm going to Jamaica. I'm flying with Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Records. Why don't you come with me on this trip? And Richard Branson is bringing Devo to Jamaica. And so it said that his plan, he must have thought of it on the way or something, but somehow along the way he was going to try to get Devo to replace their lead singer with the Sex Pistols' former lead singer, and now PIL singer, John Lydon. Can you picture that? I don't know. The band declined. But anyway, next thing you know, they got a band together and they're putting stuff out. It's the same story for punk bands. I mean, they put out a demo and they had a pretty early hit. Public Image, I think, is what it was called, right? That's easy to remember. Public Image is actually a pretty decent song. I like that song. It's a good song. You gotta check that out. It was written while he was in the Sex Pistols, so interestingly enough, Went to number 9 in the UK, surprise hit. So the next thing you know, they're off and running. Well, tons of lineup changes over the years. You can't even keep track of all the lineup changes in this. But you got his voice, punk voice, and people are thinking, oh, Sex Pistols, we're going to follow him over to this, but it's not Sex Pistols music. It's got a little bit more drum beat, rhythm, something's going in that direction. 83, they release a single, a one-off single. This Is Not a Love Song, which you may know. And the story of that is that, the people that were fans from Sex Pistols were trying to follow him over, but they weren't too happy with what they were hearing with this new music. And Love Song would be like a way to kill a band if you were a purist punk rock fan, right? So he called it This Is Not a Love Song. And it was kind of like a little bit of a burn on those fans. But some stuck with him, some did not. But they're moving towards a little bit more mainstream. And then later, with that song, This Is Not a Love Song, they put it out again. They redid it. It was a little harsher vocals than the original, and they added some brass. And then they put out a record in 1984. This is what you want. This is what you get. See what he's saying here? This is total punk rock. It's like, oh, we're doing our thing. You didn't like that thing, or there weren't enough, we weren't that popular, whatever it was. This is what you want. This is what you get. And they put that song on there. And 86, they put out a record called Album. When it was on album, when you bought the compact disc, it was called compact disc. When you bought cassette, it was called cassette. There was like a generic picture on the cover. 7 songs with just a one-word title. But one of those was Rise, which is an awesome song, and we'll post that below. But this record had all kinds of guests on it too, people coming in and out. They had Steve Vai doing solos on here. Steve Vai says it's some of his best work. Jazz great Tony Williams played some drums on here, as did Cream drummer Ginger Baker. What? How did he get all these people to do this? And then this band Flipper out of San Francisco said, hey, you stole our idea for a generic cover and calling this like Album and whatever. But that didn't go anywhere. So when Flipper put out their next record, they called it Public Flipper Limited. True story. 87, they put out a record called Happy ? And they opened up for INXS, the Kick Tour. Remember that Kick Tour that I saw at UConn before it was official? 3 months before they went worldwide, they played UConn. All along, they did come out and tour in the United States. They were on some of the shows. They got on American Bandstand. They caused general chaos, but nothing over the top. They were on. I think they were on Saturday Night Live. Anyway, it was chaos, but it wasn't pure out destruction like punk, but it was enough chaos where there were problems now and again. Happy had the single Seattle on it, awesome song. And then that was 89. They put out an album called 9. It was their 7th record. That's a punk thing to do, right? 7th album, they called it 9. That had the song Warrior on it, great song. By 1990, they put out this thing called The Greatest Hits So Far, which is what I bought, and I'm trying to remember why I did, and I don't know the answer yet. 1992, they had an album. Virgin wouldn't pay for a tour, so John Lydon did, but basically last concert in September 1992 until they got back together. So I heard Warrior somewhere in a movie, and I don't know which one, and I can't find it because the one they list in the stories is not the one that I saw. So there's a great songs here. Do you guys know these songs? We've talked about them all, but you've got we were Song of the Day, right? But anyway, you've got Warrior, you've got This Is Not a Love Song, you've got Seattle, you've got Rise. These are all awesome songs. And if I had to pick a song of the day, it's got to be Warrior, because that's the one that somehow or another got me turned on to them. You got to stick with the first 2 minutes of that song, and then it really kicks in. But I love the drums, I love the beat, and I love his crazy voice. I do. It's good stuff. We're getting into 10 minutes on Public Image Limited. I can't do a song of the day in less than 5 minutes, can I? PiL, Public Image Limited. That's your group of the day for Wanderlust Wednesday. Check out Warrior. Check out all those songs. Did you know that if you ever wanted to know what happened to the Sex Pistols singer, now you know what happened. And they did some tours later and all that stuff. So have a good day, Wanderlust Wednesday. Whew, I did it. We got more stuff coming down the pike, we'll see, but there's some good stuff. And as usual, I'll catch you on the flip side.